The minutes had been sent out for the December 22nd meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Not, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as they were presented.
Nancy,
I'll second. Paul?
second from Paul. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is electing the President Pro Tem for the council. And I'll just open that dialogue up with the council. Kevin currently is the reigning President Pro Tem.
I'll make a motion to keep Kevin as the reigning President Pro Tem for the great job he's been doing.
A motion from Dave and a second from Chad.
Yep.
Are there any other nominations? Not, can we close the nominations and move on to a vote?
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion from Dave,
I'll second.
second from Phil. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, so all in favor of Kevin being the President Pro Tem for the council for the year 2022, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Congratulations, Kevin.
Thank you.
And Alan, I think you've got some encumbrances for 2021 to 2022.
Yes, I sent out the list of them. If anybody have any questions about any of them? The only thing that I had sent out today was the golf cart one at the very bottom. That was simply because the park department had forgotten that they hadn't paid for them in 2021, had to pay for them in 2022. The rest of them fairly normal. The large one for this year is the fire truck at $550,000. That hopefully had to come in this year. I'm sure it will, but you never know. The general fund, the park and recreation, they're about where they're always at. And that was it. The Lowett Special Distribution Fund, that's the downtown, that's the design work on the downtown. All right. Okay. That's all I have.
Do we need to,
Mayor, I would make a motion to go ahead and accept the encumbrances as presented.
I'll second that motion.
Paul, and a second from Nancy? Any further discussion on that? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Then I have ordinance number 2022-1. It's an ordinance of the Common Council, City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing fees for abatement of Jasper Municipal Code violations and other such charges. Could I have a motion to consider the ordinance for one reading only?
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion from Kevin,
I'll second it. Paul?
second from Paul. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Could I have a motion to have the ordinance read in full or by title only?
Read by title only.
Motion for title only from Kevin,
I'll second it.
second from Dave. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? City Attorney, please read ordinance number 2022-01 by title only.
Ordinance number 2022-1, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, establishing fees for abatement of Jasper Municipal Code violations and other such charges.
Could I have a motion to pass and adopt ordinance number 2022-01?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Kevin?
I'll second.
Second from Nancy. Further discussion.
Question, Jeff, is how much are they going up? Are they just going up a little bit or what?
They're actually, a lot of them are staying the same.
Okay.
Okay, what we've done is we've added Lights on. I just need to turn it, put it up. Sorry. Well, a lot of them are staying the same. We've actually just added some things that weren't on the old one.
That's fine.
And so anyhow, that's what we're doing, is we're just kind of adding some things that weren't in there to begin with. So we really didn't have an ordinance to say, here's the rate that we're going to charge to use that piece of equipment. So again, that's kind of what we're doing a lot of here. I know Renee sent some information out about the old ordinance, and then we kind of used FEMA rates too to kind of compare. The thing about FEMA rates are that they're not, FEMA wants to pay as little as they can. I mean, they want to get by as cheaply as they can. And so again, although it's a good base to go off of, but again, as we were going through these, we kind of said, okay, here's a tractor. A tractor is $45. If that's the case, then a loader or a telehandler should be every bit of that. So again, a backhoe and a telehandler, we decided $50 was the right thing, because a little more, they can do a little bit more than what a tractor can. So that's kind of what we added that to it. One that's not a labor rate, but actually a trash removal. We never had that in there. Again, although that changes a lot. But again, that $47.50, believe me, we're not getting rich doing that. That's actually what our costs are. Our actual tonnage is a little less than that, but if you add all the fees into it, that actually comes out to about what it's real close, so to what it actually is. And then the labor rate, we thought it was time to move that up another $5. So
Okay.
okay.
Good explanation. Thank you.
My thought is,
Those were in your notes.
go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
My thought is these are incredibly reasonable rates from being in the equipment business. You're not going to be able to go out and rent these. Not that we want people to rent them and go out and use them, but you can't touch hardly any of this for this money. So
Yeah, it's for cleanup work. That's what I was.
it is cheap.
And the same thing. I got it used for a backhoe. I'll just get the city to come here. $50 an hour.
Good one, John.
Any other questions or discussion?
Jeff, out of curiosity, how frequent occurrence are the city's assets being used in this capacity?
It seems like a little more often than what we really like. We usually give Renee an estimate of what we think it's going to cost, and we encourage, she sends that with the notice. We encourage the property owners to, hey, you need to do this yourself, because a lot of times they may not have that money to begin with, and so we try to encourage them to do it themselves. But we have done it. I know there's been talk, should we contract it out and have somebody else do it? The problem is that even if you do that, you're still going to want personnel there to supervise it and make sure that it's done the way we would want it to be done. Again, I always say when we go out and do a weed abatement, when we're done, we put a lot of time into it because we want it to look like the house that we want to live next door to. Right. And so that's why we take as much time as we do, and it looks really good when we're done. Unfortunately, we know it's not going to stay that way. We know that it's, the minute we leave, that grass is growing again. So, and the same with trash cleanup. I mean, we want it to look nice, so we do a good job. So
There are several that are done throughout the year. I can't put a number on it, but
yeah,
It's becoming a larger problem,
yes.
which is part of the reason we needed to update the rates and charges.
weed abatements, we do quite a few of those. Trash cleanup isn't quite as often, but there are some that we have one in the books now that we need to do. But
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate your comments on it.
thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I have a motion from Kevin and a second from Nancy. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, we have a resolution Number 2022-1, resolution of the Common Council, City of Jasper, Indiana, amending the resolution 2021-15, transferring certain real property by the City of Jasper, Indiana, known as the Hydorn property. This resolution, I'll ask for a motion to consider the resolution to be read in full or by title only.
I'll make a motion to read by title only.
Motion from Nancy to read by title only,
I'll second.
second by John. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? City Attorney, please read resolution number 2022-1 by title only.
Resolution number 2022-1, a resolution of the Common Council of the City of Jasper, Indiana, amending Resolution number 2021-15, transferring certain real property by the City of Jasper, Indiana, Hydorn property.
Do you want to go ahead and explain the change now?
So you recall in 2021, we entered an agreement with Dove Recovery and the Du Bois County Foundation to transfer the Hydorn property for use as a recovery facility. And in the resolution that approved that transaction, the deed that transferred the property was referred to as a corporate warranty deed. In fact, we used a quitclaim deed. So this is just correcting the title of that document in that resolution. Nothing else has changed.
Could I have, I had a motion to approve Resolution 2022-1?
Yep.
To adopt and approve? I had a motion earlier to read it, I think. Was this the approval?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Further discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, resolution has
And it doesn't matter, yeah.
a little bit different process on the resolutions than we do on the ordinances. And normally on an ordinance, we would go through 2 readings. We would introduce it and then bring it in the next time. But because these fees were out there, I just took it into the 1 reading only, went through the old process. Normally, I would try to extend that into 2 different meetings. Okay? I just want to clarify on that. All right, the next thing on the agenda is a conflict of interest for Jerry Sheeter. And Jerry serves on IMPA board, City of Jasper. He has signed his conflict of interest statement here as a department leader in the City of Jasper and the Jasper Municipal Utilities as the manager. I would offer that this has been an annual event that we go through and that we would go ahead and accept his conflict of interest statement.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
I have a motion from John.
I'll second.
And a second from Kevin. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And I think my signature is the only one that's required on this, from what I can see. Okay. So next on the agenda, something I know you're sitting on the edge of your seats waiting on. I'm going to go up front. So we had asked the department heads, can you put it in the there you go. We'd asked the department heads to give us what they consider to be their accomplishments in the past year, and we assembled then the state of the city, which I think you'll find pretty interesting. All right, it didn't go forward. It's not going anywhere. There we go. All right. All right, I'll come down here and press it. Okay, thanks. Okay, and here are the city financials. This is just a representation of some of the bigger funds that we have. And you can see what our expenses were in 2021 and then the unencumbered balances for the year. And as Alan has explained to me, I don't know, Alan, you want to comment on these, but pretty healthy balances. So we've got as much unencumbered balance now as what we almost had in the entire expenses in the general fund last year. Rainy day fund is maintained. It grew a little bit. We were $2 million. We had put that as a floor for the council in years past kind of direction. The Park and Rec Fund, you can see our expenses in 2021 and where the unencumbered balance is. So we've got some opportunities there with some of the projects that will move forward with the Park Department. ARPA funds, we received 1/2 of our payment. So we'll be receiving another $1,775,000 later this year?
In May or June. And I will say this, they have loosened up the rules for the ARPA fund. So we can have it, what we can spend it on has been loosened up. So we have the ability to spend, particularly in government funding, for what the city does normally. Before that, it was only going to be your lost revenue. They took that away and said you could use it all for that or whatever you want on that side of it.
And then the edit fund, and this is one that, we've used in the past, the Economic Development Income Tax Fund, and that is, again, we've got $5 million in the balance. We have some of that committed based on our financial plan. A lot of these are committed based on our financial plan coming up over the next couple of years. But healthy balances. I've gotten comments from the public, and you probably have as well. How can you afford to do the things you're doing? You can't. We're going to run out of money. We're not going to run out of money. The council does a good job with budgeting, with asking what's necessary and required, and we've got good, healthy balances as a city. So we've got funding in there to help us move forward with a lot of these projects. Okay. Next one, when it comes to our departments, we are a significant employer in the area. You see we have 177 full-time employees. I think last year we had a few more. About 183 or so. And part-time, we have 123. These are permanent part-time. These are people that we call in to work so many hours throughout the year. And then we have seasonal part-time. And those are the ones that will work like at the pool or some of the other seasonal venues. But pretty good employment. And you see the larger departments, of course, the fire department, park department. Park is driven by the seasonal, but the fire department is driven by the number of volunteer firemen. They get paid, and they are on our payroll. The police department and street department, those are our larger budgeted departments out there. This past year, we launched the Heart of Jasper Facade Grant Program, and that was $50,000. That did go distributed to 5 different locations, $10,000 each toward the improvement of their downtown facades. And I tell you, this program is really gaining some momentum. At the beginning of the year here, we had several applications already for those grants. So people are making the investments in the downtown properties. Also, along with that, the Heart of Jasper distributed $120,000 to the Genesis 12 project, and this was done to assist businesses through this COVID period. I think it was a wonderful generosity there, and just glad that they were able to facilitate that. The Mayor's Youth Leadership Council grew to 21 students. When we started this, we only had, 8 the first year? 8 the first year. So our interest level has increased, and these students are learning about city government, local government, and what steps it takes to get a project done. The Clerk Treasurer's Office received another good audit from the State Board of Accounts. Alan does not want to break that string. City Hall, some other things that were done, Muni Code. It's implemented, it's updated, and it's online. So you have our ordinances are out there. They are easily referenced and to the public. So I encourage you to utilize that. They are current online within a meeting or so of the ordinance being passed, whereas hard copies, they're obsolete as soon as you print one. So I'm a proponent of using the online versions when you need to reference something. It'll be the most accurate information. The Courthouse Square infrastructure project was launched, and we've got these old water lines and the stormwater lines that need to be replaced, fixed, upgraded, and we've got that thing going to bid actually by the end of the month. The Esri Gis system, that is an important enterprise-wide system for us, and we just brought it to the latest version within the city of Jasper. So we use that across all the departments and utilities. We're using it in our engineering department with planning. We're constantly pulling up GIS information and looking at the different filters we've implemented. So great tool. And then the Redevelopment Commission and the city awarded a housing development project for the old library block, and that's 18 units that are going to go up there, and I think they're going to start demolition here within a couple months. Building permits, you can see the number of building permits issued. The number of residences, though, we had 38 single-family residents and 44 multifamily, so more of the apartment complexes. That's important because remember the housing study came out, and we're trying to close the gap on the needs in housing here in the area. We had other building permits for the pools, fences, signs. We had 24 mobile food permit, vendor permits, and this is kind of an interesting figure. Almost $86 million invested in building permits during the year. And throughout the year, we did adopt the Jasper Multimodal Transportation Plan in March 2021. In utilities, we now accept credit cards, and that utilization has gone up. They've kicked off the advanced metering infrastructure project, which is an automation project where we'll be able to monitor the usage from the central office, not necessarily at each meter location. So it's all that information is being fed, and if there's a leak, we'll be able to detect a leak before the homeowner might know about it. So we'll be able to save them some money. A new Scada system at the Wastewater Department, and I think Ed said that all the equipment had been implemented. weathering the gas shortage in February. Remember February, where there's a lot of concerns whether natural gas was going to be cut off in Jasper, and Tim and the group did a great job of mitigating those risks. We had 833 million gallons of wastewater treated. I inspected 312 laterals. We had about a 25% failure rate. We applied 429 tons of biosolids to farm grounds, and that's a little unique for municipalities. We're actually able to do that, and we're licensed to do that, and the farm grounds that we take it to are certified. We had almost 40 inches of rain in 2021, and we installed 24 new gas services. Also at our water department, we do test some water samples, and we test swimming pool samples as they come in. We had 564 million gallons of water at the filtration plant that was processed, 46 new water meters installed, 7 hydrants replaced, and 24 new gas services installed. This is a busy year in the utilities. Police department, no less. We got a new radio system in. There's a $138,000 investment. We added a new canine officer, Micaiah, bloodhound, and has been dispatched on several occasions. Has done some great work for us. We've had over 14,000 calls for service, almost 1,700 911 calls, 376 building checks, and then we've been requested for over 3,000 extra patrols. And then today, we have 37 Keep Watch members, and I would encourage anybody in the public that has a Ring door detector security system or a Weiss or any of those brands, that if you can monitor people coming to your door or to your home from on the exterior, if you would sign up for this program, it could help us in solving crime activity around the city. Not that we have a lot, but it's just an additional thing. Where the more people that sign up for it, the more secure the city is. So I'd encourage people to do that. Fire department and code enforcement, we had 498 calls, 316 assisted with EMS, and 80 false alarms. There was only 2 house fires, and 2's plenty. We don't want any, but those should continue to come down even with the new building standards and things that are put in place for fire prevention. Got a new fire engine on order. It's supposed to be arriving this spring. Originally, we thought it would take to the end of the year, but they moved the date up on us and said they were able to deliver this spring. Got 85 total site visits for code violations, and then there is a new ordinance for public nuisances that took effect on April 1st of 21, and that's important for us to be able to take action in some of these situations that we consider to be in violation. In the parks, the Hobbick Center also now accepts credit cards. The Spirit of Jasper ran a full season. It had 21 trips with over 1,100 riders. We had 14,000 swimmers at the swimming pool. And, several municipal swimming pools around the state didn't even open. But, we've stayed open during COVID both years. We were shut down for a little while, but we opened up, and I think it has proven that this outdoor activity has been a good one. Buffalo Trace Golf Course, we improved the back 9 holes with some removal of timber. We installed junior tees so that for the youth, with the closing of the Rookser Golf Course, the advanced tees make sense, and we were able to do that. We had almost 24,000 rounds played at Buffalo Trace. We installed pickleball courts at Boner Park at a cost of $111,000. The Church Avenue tennis courts were resurfaced for $55,000, and we accepted a donation of the Alexander Schoolhouse from Rojack. And I know that is a real gem of a contribution from Rojack, and really appreciate their continued efforts about improvements to the downtown Old Jasper area. The J.C. Park playground equipment was either repaired or upgraded at a cost of $44,000. And at the Older American Center, we had over 11,000 attended activities. The Arts Department, we had live shows, and we've had to make some adjustments and requirements, masks required in many cases. A lot of it is driven by performers as well. They will not come and perform if the public is not wearing masks, so always dealing with that. Many of them have postponed or canceled their performances, but we continue to try to drive the activity there. We opened the Tim Clark Cultural Center last January, and we've had, in 2021, we had almost 16,000 visits to exhibits that we have. Sold 51 pieces of art. We get a percentage of that sale. And we installed the iconic Unbound Imagination by Philip Payne, and that is a wonderful sculpture that's sitting out in front of the Tim Clark Cultural Center. That 15,597 visits to the exhibits equates to about 11 years of past history at the other location, when you combine all 11 years. So it's been a great move. We're exposing many more people to art that they didn't have access to. We hosted 403 activities, 196 workshops, 41 meetings were held there, and 16 public events, 18 exhibits, and we've got a new modern website for the Jasper Community Arts. Street Department, also very busy. It's not just during snow days, but we installed a crosswalk there at Portersville Road and Tealwood Drive, and that was to enable students to safely cross that road. We had too many close calls in the prior year, and we worked with the school and local landowners to make that happen. Then we had the sidewalk replacement along the west side of Newton Street between 15th and Sheeter Road, and we installed sidewalk along the east side of Newton Street between Sheeter Road and 30th Street. And I think there's not too many times I go down Newton Street where someone's not on that sidewalk. So I'm glad to get them off the road and on the sidewalk. Replaced the concrete on Dispatch Road. We recycled. Our recycling engagement is about 45% of our citizens. We'd like to see that increase. And I think part of it is a perception that we don't always take our recyclables to a market and use them in that manner. There are rumors out there that sometimes we take them to the landfill. The city of Jasper does not do that. We have a market for everything we pick up, and it goes to those markets. And I want to emphasize that's an important part of our future, that the more engagement we have with our citizens, the higher percentage there is participating in recycling, the better off we're going to be. And I know this next year we're planning on expanding the recycling program. Looking at we're looking at a new a new recycling collection truck, so it'll have an extra bin in it. So we're looking forward to doing that. Trying to get some additional monies, federal and state monies from that. And then we had over 1,100 bulk items collected. 233 tons of recyclables were collected during the year. 1,300 loads of rubbish collected, 829 tons of leaves collected, 269 tons of street sweepings. You think about that as they're going down the street, how much they're picking up in that street sweeper, 269 tons. Street Department also picked up 90 dogs. 54 dogs were picked up after hours. So they're always available to go out there and do that. When you think about what we did in 2021, look out 2022, here we come. We've got a lot on our plate, and we're looking forward to it. So kind of gives you a little taste of what 2021 was like. We'll talk more about 2022 as we go through and prioritize our projects together with the staff. Okay, thank you. Any questions, I guess? I'd open it up.
Good job.
Great job.
Yeah, very nice presentation.
Well, it was done by the department heads. They make everything happen. We just collected the information, so I've got the easy part.
It's a very proud story to tell.
Yeah, it is. You can sit down and we've got a lot to promote. Any other questions? If no other questions, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it, Mayor.
I have a motion from Kevin and a second from Paul. All in favor, saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.